All right, everyone, welcome. This is going to be under my Piercing Realtalk series, and I wanted to start doing interviews with piercers. I am in Santa Cruz, California right now. I came for the Richins wedding. Adam and Shelby here just got married and had their ceremony, so a bunch of piercers were in town. So we're at Amory Body Arts in Santa Cruz, California. It is literally the most beautiful shop I've ever seen, and I keep telling them that, and Jake would agree. We also have Jake Hardman. He is the Swamp King. He's a piercer from Florida. And you're at Drift Studios, correct?
Yep.
What's the town again? Because I get confused. You're near Ocala.
Eustis, Florida.
So I figured he worked here today, and I figured we can have a little chat with these guys. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So first, Adam and Shelby, congratulations on the beginning of the end of your life. And these guys are good friends of mine, so I'm going to give them a hard time. So first, how long ago did you open Amory? It's a relatively new shop. How long ago did you open?
A year ago, at the end of this month.
So it's almost a year anniversary for these guys. What would you say, how was the process of opening your own shop? Just because you've both been piercing for a while. You worked at Metal. It's one of the best jewelry companies in my opinion, for a while too as well. So what, coming from your backgrounds and working for other people, how was that experience of opening your own studio?
It was months and months of planning. We started building up all of our inventory and preparing ourselves long before we were actually in San Diego when we started the planning. And it was just an idea. It was merely an idea then, and then we moved back to Santa Cruz, and we were grateful enough I was grateful enough to be welcomed back to Metal, and Barry, the owner of Metal, knew the entire time what our plan was and wholeheartedly supported our decision. Cody Vaughn of Vaughn Body Arts in Monterey did the same thing for Adam, who he also welcomed him back. So with both of those two people, we were really able to make this dream a reality. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for either one of them, the process wouldn't have moved as seamlessly as it did.
Correct. That's great.
Yeah.
And Jake, you also own your part in where you're at too. So what was your experience doing that?
It was a lot of flying by the seat of my pants.
That's
also a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I didn't have a lot of time to prepare, so I kind of opened up with the minimum of what I needed, and we've built up over time like that. But it came out of almost an emergency situation, helping my mother out, needing to move back to Florida. I also had a really large clientele in Florida, so when I came back, it was like my first day back. It was super busy, always be thankful for the clientele I have in Florida. But it's been super stressful, but it's been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. But yeah, I can't stress enough that in the beginning I was just holding my head all right, well this is we're gonna make it work. I don't know how, but we're gonna make it work.
That's what you have to do. You have no choice in a situation like that.
Nobody walks you through this process. You're
gonna
just you know what? Let's see how this works.
Yeah.
Nope, bad idea.
If it wasn't for you having been here and working at Way Body Arts and realizing how much you enjoy the clientele in Santa Cruz, this would not have been
Wouldn't have been.
100%.
Yeah, without that, I mean, it's really what sold us on this location or just in this town was the clientele.
Yep. Because it was.
It's an interesting. Having been here, I came here in March and did a seminar, and I kind of did it. It's the first time I ever did a seminar of that style, which I liked. Was kind of a free for all in a sense. It was see what the clients want, let them book for appointments, and then I'll teach the attendees, the students, those piercings, so we do a little presentation, we talk about that piercing, the client can watch it as well, which I think the clients really did enjoy.
Yeah, really
and then we go back and we do the piercing and they can see that whole process and see me dealing with the customer with everything as well. So the clientele here, definitely, there's a lot of really, really nice people. It's a very strange place, Santa Cruz, and not just because of the Lost Boys and the vampires. But it's interesting. Different cities are always going to be different. Mm-hmm. People always come to Philly, and they're always just whoa, everyone here is angry. And it's not that we're angry. We just, in Philly, we don't take any shit. FYI, when you come to Philly, watch yourself. So you go to different places, and you see just the difference in people in the clientele. So it's definitely really different. So how long have each of you been piercing? Adam, how long have you pierced?
I just hit 11 years this July.
Shelby?
Since 2008. So what would it be? We're going on 10 years.
Nice. Jake?
I'm going on 9 years.
So that's what I would consider. Okay, well, I'm ancient because I'm over 20 years. So I mean, but that would be like a mid-generation piercer, I think, at this point, because we have a lot of like people under 5 years, and then there's a lot of people in my range that are falling off the radar. I'm one of the few holding on. So speaking about owning a store, that is something I really want nothing to do with at all. I like to pierce and I like to teach seminars, and I'm happy with where I work and my bosses. So yeah, I want nothing to do. I bless their hearts for doing this, because they've done a great job. And I'll edit some of the shops so you guys can see, and anyone in Santa Cruz or in the surrounding area, you should come and check this place out. It's definitely a great shop. And Jake's nodding after working here for a whole day.
Yeah, so it's been a great day, and I can attest that their clientele are amazing.
Good job, Santa Cruz. Good job. So what are your favorite piercings to do?
I love ear stuff. Not as much as you love ear stuff. But yeah, ear stuff is always my favorite. And I tell clients, like, every single ear is going to be different. They're almost like fingerprints. And we have, we're lucky enough to have people come in and be like, I want to get pierced, but I don't know what I want. And I always just tell them, fall in love with the piece of jewelry in the case, and then we'll figure out what's going to look the best. And people love that, because if you come in and you're just like, I want this, then you're kind of limiting your options, as to say. But if you fall in love with something a little bit bigger, you don't want to put that on your nose. And so that I love ears for that reason. To the point where if somebody comes in and they're like, I want something ear stuff, Shelby will be like, Adam, ear stuff. This person wants something cool in their ear, and that's your favorite thing. So here you go.
Okay. Do this, please. Shelby?
I really, really love septums and filtrums, just because septum piercings, because of the challenging aspect of it. It really is one of those piercings that for me, I do by feel. And so it's a lot of trust going into it, and having, like, I think I've managed to break down a technique that works perfectly for me.
Oh, you did.
And I really, really love filtrums, because it's one of the piercings that you can get away wearing, like, gaudy jewelry. And so I just want everyone to rock big, beautiful gold filtrum jewelry, and so it's just one of those things that it's just the jewelry. That's what makes that piercing for me.
And we do a lot of them.
We do a lot of them.
Everybody's just like, I want it like you.
That's very true. For those of you, for non-piercers, for clients out there, septums are notoriously difficult for piercers to wrap their head around. It's not that they're difficult to do per se, but the stigma behind them, and it is, if you're not paying attention, really easy to get them crooked. Some anatomies with deviations in septum can make them really easy to get crooked. So a lot of piercers have a hard time with them. I myself, for forever, had a hard time, and I found a way that worked for me. Through just, actually, a friend of mine in Italy kind of gave me a little bit of a lowdown on what he did, and I kind of adapted that. So that's why septums are so challenging. Just so, I think a lot of clients don't really realize this, you know, septums being so insanely popular, you know, they died down a little bit, but they're still pretty popular. Yeah. But yeah, they can definitely be, I'd like to explain that just for, I have piercers and just regular people, non-piercers that watch this, that watch these videos. The most of you really just only want to watch like the bloody stuff and make stupid comments, which is fine. I like to respond to them and make you look even stupider. So keep it up. It's really fun. And especially with the thumbs down people, keep doing it. It's really hilarious.
I mean, if you don't get the Sass out, you would explode.
I know. No, I'm like Roger from Family Guy. If I don't get to be bitchy, then I'll probably shrivel and die.
You can see your tank of Sass.
That's true. Yeah. No, this is my tank of Sass. It's Krampus Bob is protecting my tank of Sass. Jake, what's your favorite piercing to do?
It would probably be like dots and male genital stuff. I just love all the stuff you can do with male genitals.
Jake likes dick.
I love dick. You can book me a whole day of dick, and I'll be the happiest boy on earth.
Very good. And dots are also dots are my favorite to do as well. For those of you curious, I'm asking them questions, but I'll ask myself. Dots are my favorite piercing to do, hands down. They look good with plain, simple steel or titanium captive bead rings. They look great with some crazy gold clicker business. They always look good when done right, at the right depth, not shallow. I'm looking at pretty much 90% of the dots videos on YouTube. Sorry, it's the truth. So, but yeah, dots are also my favorite as well. So, the next thing I want to ask is for the piercers watching, what would be, just give me a general blurb of what would be your advice to the piercers that could be watching.
I think a lot of people have an issue with, you get caught up being a piercer and wanting to pierce, and they neglect just the regular maintenance stuff, like not being stoked to help a client downsize their jewelry when they come in for their checkup and stuff like that, because it's just like you're not getting your portfolio picture, you're getting that, and you should be treating every single person that walks in like it's that piercing, like that thing that you're excited to do, because to that person, this is something that they will always remember. They're coming in for the maintenance that you asked them to, and you should be just excited to help them because they came back to you. And I see people all day long just be like, I really just don't. I wish I could just pierce. I don't want to do all this other stuff. Like, no, we signed up for all of this, and it's all fun. You get to interact with people, and I mean, maybe I'm biased because Santa Cruz people are awesome. But yeah, that's the one thing that I feel like a lot of people kind of take for granted is that interaction.
Touche. Fair enough. Shelby?
It's a similar aspect as Adam. I feel like that this business has turned into such a. It's not just someone walking in going, I want my septum pierced with the, a 10 gauge circular barbell.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen anymore. You know what I mean? Right? That was so much fun. It's not a thing anymore. People come in and I feel like they're deserving of this customer service experience. And it brings me down to what we were talking about earlier, which is you're right, the customer is not always right.
This is
But
go ahead.
But
Luis is a dick.
he is
I am. This is not a secret. I'm a bitch. I'm
But
an
I've
asshole.
walked into
Yeah.
plenty of places where we get asked the same questions on a daily basis. And yes, it can be repetitive, and yes, sometimes it can be annoying depending on everyone's mood. But they're deserving of that wonderful educational customer service experience. We're not just robots. We can't just be slinging piercings left and right. We need to treat every single person and every piercing like it has its own character, its own personality. We can't just look at a nose and go, here's another nostril. I don't know. I feel like it's easy to do that. As someone who's done it, it's easy to fall into that
Fair enough. Fall into that trap. No,
Yeah.
fair enough. And just for clarity's sake, I was interviewed for a good friend of mine's podcast yesterday for Will Von Doom's podcast. It's called, I believe it's just called Realtalk.
Realtalk,
Real
yeah.
Talk.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, I kind of stole a little bit of your name, not realizing it, Will. But mine's Piercing Real Talk, so that makes it its own independent property. So don't get butthurt. But he had asked me a question, and I'll be honest, and people can get mad. Corporate America has created this mentality of the customer is always right. No, you're not. You're not. Because people come in, and I say this after being in this industry for so long. When I first started piercing, people were enthusiasts. And I get that things change. But we got treated like human beings once upon a time. Here in Santa Cruz, they apparently get treated like human beings all the time. Not everywhere. And sometimes people come in and they just treat us like garbage, and we don't have to take that. In a small business, you don't have to take that. And people can treat me like garbage and it doesn't bother me, but if you treat my coworkers and my receptionist, I can hear everything that's going on because I have a 2-story studio and the greeting is done at the bottom. I can hear the shitty things that people say to them, the nasty things that people say to them. We don't have to deal with that at all. You are not right, and there are plenty of other places that you can be a customer at. But I think the biggest thing that people forget is that we're humans and we're people too. We're not your servants, we're not your slave. We're offering you a service, but it is a luxury service. It is not a right. You do not have a right to a piercing. It's a luxury. You can live without a piercing. You can live without Nintendo. You can live without a Miata or whatever. I don't know. I don't know shit about cars. I don't know if those are like fancy expensive or like a Porsche. You can live without a Porsche. You can get from point A to point B in a bus or in a Yugo or a Honda Civic. So just remember for you people out there, because I see how you act on the comments, and those comments are 100% indicative at how shitty of a human you are. Remember that, because that's what I see when I look at comments on other videos. I'm like, this person's a shitbag. This person's a shitbag. I'm an asshole.
I think it also has a lot to do though with where you're located. Like Santa Cruz.
For sure.
Santa Cruz is a tiny little town.
And
It's a small town. It's
a
laid
small
back.
town.
It's
It's
very,
super- if
it's
you've ever
very
been
laid
there,
back here.
like,
It's really weird
It's
to me from
fucking
the East
hippie
Coast.
and it is so calm and relaxing and beautiful. It's paradise. I live in fucking paradise.
It's a beautiful place. Very expensive here. Save your money. You want to live here. Come to Amory Body Art so my friends can keep living here. But it's a beautiful place, and it is where it's different. And like I said, I love Philly, and Philly's very in your face. But sometimes it's just like.
But I was in LA. And
True,
I
in
love
LA,
that. So what you're talking about, I experienced every fucking day. So I completely understand that.
And that's the thing. Remember that, like, if you want to be treated a certain way, remember that other people want to be treated a certain way. If you want to be treated shitty, then that's your own fetish, and don't think that everyone wants to be treated shitty, because we don't. So just that's the thing that I'm trying to push for. And when I interact with clients, don't get me wrong. Like, someone can be shitty at me, and I give them the chance. Like what you said was. You know, everyone deserves a chance to have a good experience with a piercing. Yes, if they allow it to.
No, I completely
But
agree.
if you come at me or any one of us, probably, I think these two would probably handle it in a way different way than I would. I literally am just like, listen, it seems like, I've literally looked at someone and been like, listen, it seems like you're having a bad day or something, but please don't speak to me that way, because that's not how this is going to go down. And if you don't like what I'm telling you, you can feel free to leave. There are plenty of other options that you can go to, because I'm not anyone's dog. None of us are. So, just be nicer to people. I see it constantly. When I'm in other businesses, I see people treating people. It doesn't matter if someone works at McDonald's. That doesn't mean they're less of a human. That's their circumstance, and they're trying to make money to pay their bills. Don't treat someone like crap because you're mad that you only got one barbecue sauce and you wanted to pay the 25 cents for it.
I yelled at a gentleman at Starbucks because he walked in because his mobile order wasn't ready and legitimately just began screaming at the people behind the counter, and I was like, fucking excuse me.
Yeah.
But you do not get to speak to them that way.
Yeah.
And it's no different. I just feel like that everyone's always scared about going to a restaurant and having their fucking like food spit in.
Yeah.
You know, don't treat the server like shit, or else you're gonna go to the kitchen and be like, this bitch.
This bitch. You're gonna get
but
extra
it's the same
fumes,
thing.
extra
It's like
spit.
don't go to a salon and talk shit to your fucking stylist. Don't be shitty to the person who's about to fucking pierce you.
Yeah.
Or tattoo you.
And that's no means it's by no means are we saying that we would purposely fuck things up. Like, because trust me, there are lots of times where I would love to do that, but I don't, because I recognize that I'm still providing them a service, whether they're an asshole or not. So my stuff needs to be on point, because in the end, I need to not drop to that level. Because that's the thing. Like, if you're a shitty human being and you're treating people like crap because you're having a bad day or you're getting a divorce, everyone has problems. We all have problems.
Don't be testy though.
Don't be testing about it. Yeah, don't be testing me with your problems. So I don't need to downplay myself to that point. And while I do come off as a brusque person, and I'm fine with that, I actually enjoy it. It's because people need to hear the truth. I'm not here to walk on eggshells. These guys will tell you, like, being my friend, I'll be like, yo, that shit's beat. Like, that's fucked up and you shouldn't have done that. Because that's what I want my friends to do to me. So it's, you know, it's not out of if you disrespect us, you know, don't be surprised if you don't get the best treatment. And you're not, you know, the customer is not always right. That's the end truth of it. That's just a corporate creation that allows people to threaten. Like, I forget where, I think I was talking about it with Will or somewhere this weekend where we're talking about it. It's people, I'm going to give you a 1-star Yelp review. You know, like, okay, like, that's not going to get you any better service or free stuff. Like, that's actually even shittier. That's actually a form of extortion. So, like, and if you have that kind of racket, recognize that just leaving one bad review, you're probably going to have it filtered because they like people that constantly use the site, FYI. But it's not right or fair to threaten people with that when you haven't even gotten a service or because you had unrealistic expectations. I think we can all speak, we can all attest to the fact that people come in and they want a horizontal tongue piercing or something, and you say no, and they get completely offended that you're telling them no. Y'all need to hear no. No is fine to hear, and the more you hear no, you'll understand about real life. Because Mother Nature don't give a fuck about you. She's gonna send a fucking tornado to come and get you, and it doesn't matter what you want. Like, life doesn't give you what you want. You have to go and work for what you want and get what you want, at least in a decent way. And being a jerk because we tell you no for a good reason, like a horizontal tongue piercing, what y'all like to call snake eyes, that's beat. That's gonna mess up your tongue. It's that's what some people call it, snake eyes, and it's on the tip. Frog eyes. I don't know. I can't keep track with what y'all call stuff because none of it makes any sense. Apparently, all these things started biting you on the face, and you put jewelry in it. Angel bites. When did angels start biting people? They're supposed to be down with God and Jesus. Now they're running around biting people. Dolphin bites. Dolphins are rapey, but I didn't think they bit. You know,
You
so
can't even eat us.
I go on tangents and had a lot of coffee today, and it's been a long, exciting weekend. But it's these points that I like to be, and this is what it's like to be my friend because I'm entertaining apparently as
I know,
well.
I'm so excited. You better not edit this shit.
I'm not going to edit this out. That's what I'm going to keep in there. But like we're telling you no because it's something that's bad for you. A horizontal tongue piercing, it's pinning two muscles together. It's going through a lot of tissue. It's pinning your tongue in a form that won't allow it to move in its natural way. Navel piercings. I talk people out of navel piercings all the time because their anatomy isn't suited for it. And it has nothing to do with weight. It's not a fat people thing. There's plenty of big people that have perfect navels for piercing. You're fat. He's California fat.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
This is not fat. It's people in California. Fucking ridiculous.
Look at the rest of this couch.
Well, you know, they got tapeworms. I don't know what's going on. So we're telling you no because we respect what we do and we have integrity and we want to do a good job. It doesn't mean we're doing a bad job because we told you no. It means you're doing a bad job living your life. You're being a shitty human being because you can't understand that no is an important thing. Y'all laugh, but these people need to hear that. Y'all need to hear this. Leave your nasty comments, but the truth is here. You're throwing some devil shade, and I'm throwing some Jesus truth over here.
Somebody.
1 star.
1 star. Well, no, this is 5 stars. 5 stars.
Somebody
1
needs,
star
I need
for
a
the
shirt
shade.
with Luis's face that just says "The truth is here." We have a video. He just went, "The truth is here."
The
Like
truth
the
is
weird
here.
John
Yeah,
Cena
the truth
shit.
is my words. Alright, I digress too much. Jake, what is your advice?
How do you
Follow
follow that?
You can do it, baby. You're from Florida. You can do it. Use that swamp power.
For piercers, critical thinking. I feel like a lot of just thinking in itself has been lost over the last couple of years because we do have so many forums and we do have so much internet presence that a lot of people are doing stuff that maybe they shouldn't be doing because they've either watched a video or they're asking questions or they're using jewelry or doing something, but they don't know why they're doing it. They're basically like, oh, well, I saw so-and-so do it, so I'm going to do it like this, but they don't really understand why they're doing it or really the logistics of doing that. And I feel like you're not going to grasp the full, whatever you're doing, if it's you want to change what you're doing freehand piercing or even just the logistics of, like, you know, changing up good jewelry. Like, I see people all the time that think that that's it, good jewelry is the end of it. And you can do a crap piercing and put good jewelry in it, and then like everyone that's looking at their phone is gonna be like, all right, you know?
No, not everyone, because a lot of y'all are liking some shit that's hideous. I'm sorry. like how you, I don't know what kind of blindness afflicted you,
Blindness.
but why are you liking blindness of the eyes, blindness of the soul? I don't understand. But yeah, I mean, that could be a $5,000 navel piece. If that shit's crooked, that shit's just crooked with a $5,000 navel piece.
Yeah, I mean, throwing a clicker in a crooked navel just because you wanted that sale, it's not going to make the navel any more straight, and like it doesn't look.
It's just bad for him. Yeah, it doesn't look
bad.
good.
And honestly, I kind of feel bad for your client because they could have had something way cooler that fit way better.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking all the way through. You're just saying like, here's what everyone else is doing. I need to be doing that, but you're not saying, well, why am I doing it? What's the reasons why I should be doing it? You know, and it's just like I feel like a lot of the internet and a lot of the just following people on Instagram. They're like, oh, I need to be doing this, but they don't know why or how to do that. They're just being like parroting. You know,
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so we'll close out on this question. Then, on the same note. For clients, what would be a blurb, like a pro tip for a client that you feel that like a client these days looking for a piercing needs to know or keep in mind?
Do your research. Like, just like anything else. Like, if I need to get my car worked on, I'm not just going to be like, what's the closest one to me? I'm going to look up and see if they fit what I feel my needs are in that situation. You know? So it's not just, okay, I've seen this shop use this great jewelry. That's awesome. That's great that they're using great jewelry. But talk to other people. What are their personal experiences if they went there? Don't be afraid to ask questions. I mean, again, that also falls down to the fact that we have awesome clients, but we have people come in and be like, I'm sorry I'm asking so many questions. And I'm like, no, you're good. I'm sorry that you feel like you need to apologize for asking
that
questions.
as well. And yeah, I'm always like, it's fine. As long as people are respectful, it's cool, it's fine. You can ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You heard it a bunch of times today. I cracked the same joke. I'm here till 8. You're giving me something to do.
Yeah.
Ask away.
You do say that, yeah. The last time, also as well. It's your typical thing to say. You know, and on that same note, just to touch on this too, when you're looking up, don't just go, like, you want to look at reviews and see what they do, sure. You want to look at their work, look at portfolio pictures, and when you're looking at these pictures, everything well, not everything fresh, again, YouTube, looks great, but something can look great fresh, but what does it look like a year from then? See, a decent piercer is going to have a lot of heel pictures in their portfolio, so check that stuff out. This goes for tattooing and a lot of other stuff as well. You know, and then when you're look at all aspects of it, because there's a lot of places, and I'm sure you guys know places that have good reviews and people are like, yeah, go here, it's great, and you see some terrible things coming out of there, or poor quality jewelry coming out of there, or tattoos that look terrible after 3 years because they don't age well because of the way they were done. It's a similar aspect like that, I think, that I want to throw out there to add on top of my friends, because I like to talk to keep in mind. Shelby?
Mine would be something that I pretty much encounter every day. Would be just because someone has that piercing or a piercing does not make them a professional. So if you have a friend who has a nostril piercing and you're having complications with yours, please don't ask your friend.
Yeah.
Please get in touch with us. We want to be sure, if anyone is anything like Adam and I, we want to be sure that everything is like tip top. Like, we had a girl come in today who had an irritated piercing, and I asked her if she can come in a few days just so that I can be sure that everything continues to look good, because that's what I would expect if I walked into a place of business like this. I'd want to see that they had that compassion to make sure that everything continued to look good and was healing well. So with that being said, please don't ask your friends, family, acquaintances, preachers.
Don't ask Jesus or anybody else.
Please contact a professional if you ever have any questions.
And
That would be my thing to clients.
That's something I say to my clients all the time. Like, I'm always like, listen, no disrespect. If you have a problem, I'm always here to help. We're always here to help. Any one of our piercers can help.
Always, yeah.
Please let us know. Don't, no offense to your brothers, cousins, sisters, uncles, roommates who have piercings. They didn't do the piercing. Even if they do piercing, when they do it out of their basement and stuff, we're the ones that did it. Come to us and we're willing to help you. So it's definitely something that's good advice.
You trusted us to get this. You should trust
us to fix it. Because then if you don't, and they tell you some weird ass shit, like rub some yerba mate or something on there, and you jack it up, and then we have to deal with a much worse situation. Now, on a side note, abusing note, we had a client years ago with a tattoo, and it got a little dry, so his sister told him to put peanut butter on it because it's good for skin.
What?
Wait.
Crunchy or smooth?
It was crunchy. He was crunchy, and he's allergic to peanuts.
Oh.
So that you see how this goes. So go to the people who did. If the person who did it tells you to put crunchy peanut butter on there, then I don't know what to tell you besides getting a tattoo artist or whatever. But ask the people who actually know, not the people answering Yahoo Answers, not the people on Facebook. Everyone wants to feel like they know what they're talking about, and I'm sure some of these people feel like because they have a bunch of piercings, they know what they're talking about. Remember that comment? Maddie from Argentina, I think it was, you made a comment and you tried to say that I was doing things wrong because you have like 3 piercings. No, that's not how it works. You know what, I said it in one of my videos too. I clearly enjoy food. I've eaten a lot of 5-star meals and a lot of 1-star meals too. I'm not a chef. I'm not going to tell a chef how to cook a meal. That is not, I don't know about that just because I done ate it. So, that's what you need to keep in mind. You're not an expert. It feels good to be an expert, but you need to put your work in to be an expert. So remember that, and don't get butthurt when someone points it out because you need to hear it. Jake, I'm sorry.
No matter how many piercings your friend got makes him an expert, even not me as being a piercer, I promise you I've got more piercings than your friend ever got. So no matter what, even if it wasn't for the fact that if you were looking for the person with the most piercings to give you advice, it's probably still your piercer.
Yeah, true. That's true. So bear that in mind. Right, Jim?
Be nice. I understand everyone has bad days and stuff like that, but like we were saying earlier, you're paying someone to hurt you. Don't be mean to them. Don't be mean to them. Just keep in mind that they're people too. They have bad days too. We all have bad days, and a lot of us will bite through and smile through the day. And just someone saying as simple as "Oh, how's your day going?" and just being nice, or even if you decide that's not the studio you want to get pierced at, or say you didn't like the price point, calling another studio in the lobby is the rudest thing you can do, and please stop doing that.
It's not even really just rude or disrespectful. That is some tacky, trifling ass shit. Like, really? Get out of there. Get out of there. Like, what do you, like, if that's to prove a point, if you expect someone, because people have done that, or been like, well, my favorite is, well, I can get it done for $10 here. Why are you fucking here then?
Yeah.
Why did you come? My uncle does tattoos and he can do it for this much. Why ain't you at your uncle's house chilling with your aunt, getting a tattoo in the kitchen? Why are you telling me this? I don't care. As a matter of fact, you tell us this, and we're just gonna be like,
I feel like our bedside manner is really going to play off of what you bring into the studio as well. So if you come in and you're like in the foulest of moods, you know, why? I mean, I could do everything I possibly can to try and make you happy, but if you continue to maintain that attitude, then my bedside manner will reflect what you're bringing in.
It can totally, and that actually reminds me. The other thing that I think a lot of people forget, even piercers forget about our job. Psychic is the wrong word, but kind of like, we're psychological sponges. That shit that you're putting out, we're doing you the fucking favor of absorbing. We're letting you release this negative tension and negative energy through the format of piercing. And I am not a crystal sucking hippie wearing a sarong. I'm not that kind of piercer, but there is this aspect that I do believe works. And when you're coming in with like this really bad attitude, you're pushing that on us, which then if we don't do certain things, we can then push that off on other people, and that's not fair. I know it sounds really hippy-dippy, and I'm not a hippy-dippy person at all. But it's true.
No,
so that's an aspect of it. You're tainting the whole experience. And the only one that's at fault for you having a bad experience is really then you. There's definitely been times where I can fix someone's bad day just by doing it. I've had clients been like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I was like that when I came in. You were great. I was just having a bad day. And it's like, yeah, no problem. You see that recognition. That's where that connection happened, at least, you know? But it's something to keep in mind. Like, it's... Part of what we do is to take in these messed up things or listen to what you're telling us, because people, just like going to the hairdresser, are going to talk about all their problems. And I've heard some like stuff which y'all shouldn't be telling us. Like, we don't need to know. I'm not even going to get into it, because there's been some deep stuff where people tell me, and I don't even know what to say. I'm like, oh man, I'm really sorry. Where do you want your helix piercing? Like, you know, go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. We'll list, you know, filters, you know, because that's the thing that throws a wrench in my energy for sure. Like I've had to take a break where I'm like, I just heard some really sick shit and I gotta go, like I need a break, I need to go get a snack and a coffee or something. So I don't know, I think this was pretty fun. This is really the first one that I'm doing like this that's not by myself, and I want to do more of these.
We just keep making you do all these freeform things.
That's fine, freeform, I know. Amory Body Art's freeform all the way. So thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you like this. You know, if you didn't, whatever, that's cool too. I don't care.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. You know, go ahead and thumbs down. But keep watching. Don't forget to like or unlike or subscribe. Feel free to comment. Just be ready for when I respond. Sometimes I'll just delete it. If it's really dumb, I'll just delete it. Or also, read all the comments. I know it might seem like a lot to read like 20 comments or maybe 100 and something comments. Because if you're just asking and saying the same dumbass shit that other people said, you look pretty trifling as well. So just bear that in mind too. But if that's the look you're trying to go for, live your life, that's cool. I'm sorry, dear. But, you know, just bear that in mind. Also, like, all the info that you need to know about Amory will be in the description. I'll probably also edit in something in the credits as well, and I'll show a little bit of the shop as well in the opening and closing. So make sure you check them out if you're here in Santa Cruz. I'd also like to thank one of my sponsors, Neomed Piercing Aftercare Spray. It's a great saline solution. Don't y'all sell it here? Why are you laughing? They sell it here. They rep the Neomed, but it's good aftercare spray. So I do like to throw them out there because it's a great product that I do like, that I sold before they became a sponsor of mine, for the record. But it's good stuff.
Protein.
Hashtag Neomed Protein. Y'all jealous people, you wish you was on this protein. You know it. So thank you for watching. I know things get sassy. They always get sassy with me. I hope I didn't hurt y'all too much. At least a little bit. Get used to it. But thank you guys for letting me interview. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Shelby. Again, Amory Body Arts, Santa Cruz, California. Drift Piercing, and Nero Cali because it's fucking Florida. And I try and block it out because I'm from Florida. and he's taken over as king of the swamp. And again, I'm sorry, Jake. What town?
Eustis, Florida.
Eustis, Florida. Okay, I should remember that because it's the name of a character from one of the best cartoons ever, Courage the Cowardly Dog. And yes, I'm old. So thank you so much. And now we're going to go have Thai food. So y'all have a good night.
We'll be right back.